Yeah, look at me, look at my head, everything.
You're ridiculous.
All right.
This is the worst.
Welcome.
Okay,
this is awful.
Yeah, it's awful. First off, we're both wearing green shirts in front of a green screen.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, clearly we know what we're doing. I mean, look at that. You look like you got Realtree on your shoulder.
All right, I got to get out of this.
The mask or the green shirt thing. Is that a Green Lantern outfit?
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
Look.
I don't quite know. It's like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern where it's a digital.
It's like I'm an apparition.
Yeah, I'll say.
If it's great, if it's perfect for what we're going to talk about.
Sure it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Halloween.
All right, welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to Green Light and Banter, episode 36.
Not a chance.
I don't know. Today is October 31st, 2024.
Year of our Lord.
Yep, and it's Halloween.
I kind of feel like you've lost count of what episode we're on, have you?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it is 36.
There's not a chance.
I should know. I look at this stuff all the time. So today is Halloween. I have my semi-transparent Green Lantern costume on.
I have nothing. Well, I mean, I have my clothes on, but I have no costume. I don't.
Is that a uniform?
I guess you could call it a uniform, although it's not uniform to the company.
I believe it is a uniform.
Well, I mean, do we have a uniform? Because I ordered these.
It's logoed.
It's logoed. You know, you're talking. You look at it every day. I wonder who looks at it more, you or my mother. Because every time I come into my parents' house or I see my folks, my mom's like, Jamie, you have so many of these, and she'll name off the numbers.
Is she looking at YouTube?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, and she keeps up with it. She's probably all of our views.
Well, I don't look at it every day.
Halloween is not the time to tell tales out of school.
Well, I look at it once a day in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank all of our subscribers.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yep. And today is Halloween. I was reminiscing about our Halloween episode last year.
That's so stupid.
It's great.
Yeah, I guess it is great.
It is it was not intentional,
yeah.
But it is what it is. So I thought we'd do
Mine doesn't do it.
You're not green enough.
I'm not green enough. It's not easy being green.
So our green screen. I've worked really hard this week trying to. We have no sound card, by the way. So
what does that even mean?
I don't know what it'll mean for this podcast.
Are we wasting our time right now?
No, it's recording over there. So
okay.
But typically we have a sound card and a video sound. So I don't know.
Does this mean Zach can't do his shenanigans with our?
No, he can.
Dadgum.
Yeah. So I thought we'd talk briefly about Halloween in these mountains, which appear behind us, Smoky Mountains.
I was just in those mountains today.
You were. So it's a wonderful time here with the changing of the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Children are out seeking their sugar fix this evening. But what I'd like to talk about is old-timey Halloween tales.
What do you mean?
Like Appalachian superstitions.
Well, I don't have any stories prepared for this.
You don't?
Well, I mean, you should tell me about this so I can look stuff up.
No, the whole idea is that you
I know.
You already know.
But I do follow an Instagram page that's like about old haunted Appalachia.
Yeah.
But
It's a brief conversation.
yeah, we'll get it. I'll do my best.
Well, I've only got a couple of stories,
Okay.
and these are personal stories, so I'll tell one.
Okay.
So, as a child growing up, my mamaw, they lived on this road. It was called Bethcar Road. And so the road actually was named after the church that was at the end of the road, Bethcar United Methodist Church. So, one of the oldest churches in the state. I think the church was founded sometime around 1780s.
Is it still there?
It's still there.
Is it a functional church? Like the,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
or were they one of the, this is way off topic.
Yeah, it is.
Were they one of those that separated from the United Methodist Church?
Well, I don't know if that's happened yet. So
Okay.
when I said the name of it, I may be wrong
Okay.
in that now. So it may just be Bethcar Methodist Church, because I'm thinking over the time, over these 200 and odd 50 years, it was probably Bethcar Methodist Church, and then it was the UAE. You know, the Methodist Church has gone through some stuff. Anyway, that's beside the point. So the road by their house leads to that church. That's how it was named. But across the road from my mama and papa's house was a cemetery, still there.
Mm-hmm.
But that cemetery, as a child, held all kinds of scariness and superstition.
Like to you or
Mhm.
like officials?
To everybody, but to me specifically, because there's a witch buried there.
Is this a falsely accused woman that was buried there? And
I don't know. So Mama tells me a story. When she was a little girl, they lived out the road. So Papa actually grew up in the house below their house.
Mhm.
And the house they lived in was actually a barn for the family. And so Papa was actually born in that barn that they turned into a house. But Mama lived out the road closer to the church. And she told the story of a witch that lived there. And she says that one day they were riding horse and buggies or wagons. This would have been in probably the 40s.
okay.
Okay. So they were poor, so they probably didn't have a car.
Right.
Quite honestly, they walked or rode the
Yeah.
wagon. And she said that a man came out into the road in front of this witch, and he said something to her, and she cursed him,
And
and he died.
like how soon?
Like right then, right there after.
Okay, so that's a legitimate curse.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard of people doing curses. I got cursed, and 3.5 years later.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's
Coincidence? I don't know. But anyway, that was the story. So I forget, like, if he was in the wagon with his horses and he nearly ran over her, the witch, and she cursed him. But apparently he just died.
I can tell you.
So we were scared of the cemetery.
Oh, absolutely. I would be too. I can tell you, nothing really has ever scared me except for witches.
Well, you just don't know.
You just don't know.
You don't push your luck, right?
I don't push my luck with that junk.
Do you know any witches now?
No, but I would love to go camping where the Bell Witch was, just to see if, because I don't believe in much as far as hauntings, things like that. It just people that grew up with quote unquote ghosts. Always, when I say that, they're always like, "Oh, I grew up with them." I'm like, "Great, I've never seen a ghost. I want to see one." So
I don't know that you actually ever see them.
I've never seen evidence of a ghost.
I think you feel the presence.
Then something's wrong with me, because I have a friend who grew up in a quote unquote haunted house, and his parents even told me stories that her name was Mrs. Glover. Her evidently, like, every once in a while you'd hear what's that, because she fell down their stairs, and they'd say you'd hear, it sounds like almost like a chest of drawers or something
Dropping down the stairs.
and then there'll be a couple of blood spots on the
Ooh.
wall. They say this to me. I've never seen it, and I've spent the night in that house. I've wanted to see her.
I'm thinking they didn't want you to stay there, so they told you this, so you'd be like, "No, I'm good."
I'm an excellent house
But you
guest.
stayed.
Why wouldn't anybody want me to stay there? I think I'm witty. I make good conversations. Why wouldn't you want me to stay at your house?
I don't know.
Well,
You know, you talk about the Bell Witch. So a friend of mine they did a movie about this.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've seen the movie.
I think it's called like the American. Is it the one with Donald Sutherland? Is this a movie or is
Yeah.
this, well, there was one with Donald Sutherland called like the Great American or American Haunting
Was it about the Bell Witch?
about the Bell Witch. Yeah.
Well, my friend Sarah was in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know that I've seen it.
Well, there's
It has to be Donald Sutherland. It was like in the past 20 years,
yeah,
30 years.
It was when Donald Sutherland was older too. So yeah, that'd be right. That track. But
So I said I was only going to tell one story,
get on it.
but the presence of a ghost. So when I was a kid, routinely I would be awakened in the night with my bed shaking.
Are you sure it wasn't you shaking?
Well, of course I was shaking. My bed was shaking.
Oh, were you shaking the bed by your shaking?
In my sleep?
I don't know. I don't know how this works. Listen,
Don't question my story.
I'm not questioning your story. I'm sure the bed was shaking, but was it shaking because you were shaking?
I think it was because the ghost was shaking the bed.
You've just chalked it up to a ghost?
What else? What else explanation?
Let me explain
Hmm.
why. Well, first off, except for, I mean, this is insufferable, quite honestly. Why I don't believe, except for my religion, I don't believe in things I can't touch, taste, or measure. So it's hard for me to believe in something that I've never seen.
Hmm.
Now, I don't mean that.
You don't think spirits are among us?
I mean, they may be among us, but can you think of a worse way to spend an afterlife than staying here haunting?
Well, so here's what you need to read. C.S. Lewis, his book called The Screw Tape Letters.
Okay.
And so this whole book is based from the perspective of, I don't know what they call themselves. They call us patients, but it's from the perspective of demons. So you have a demon that follows you around and tries to get you to do stuff.
Yeah.
I have one, and they have supervisors. And so this whole book is a conversation from
Supervisor.
Screwtape, Uncle Screwtape. And he's talking to Wormwood, who has a patient that he's trying to get. It's funny. I mean, it's hilarious. But it's
I'll
like,
check it out.
it is completely, it's like your affectionate Uncle Screwtape. But he's like, I am so disappointed in you. You have allowed the patient to become religious. He consistently goes to one church. He's like, we're all very disappointed in you. Then he's like, you need to play upon the patient's humility. Once a human becomes humble and they recognize it, we have them. And then they become boastful. Oh, I'm so humble.
Well, yeah.
And he calls Jesus, he calls Jesus the enemy.
I can see that.
The enemy says he loves these people,
Yeah.
but does he really?
Well, let me say demons and all that I do believe in.
Okay, well, what's the difference?
There's a difference.
If that's plausible.
Well, because if there's or first off, we're getting into a topic
we're going into religion.
Yeah. So, but
Do you have a ghost story?
When I say I can't taste, touch, or measure something, and I don't believe in it, I can measure my religion because I feel it, if that makes sense. So I do believe in demons, but ghosts, I have not ever seen anything that convinces me. Now I may have.
Not even a question. Nothing that like you're like,
Well, you know what?
did I just see that?
One time, now I can't explain this, but I don't know. One time, okay, two instances, but they both involve churches. I was at a church lock-in with one of my friends. Lock-ins. Did you ever do the lock-in? What a thing.
That's a great thing if you're an adult too, by the way.
I've never been in an adult lock-in. That's
No, I mean if you're the adult that's there with the kids.
oh, really?
Oh, it's so tiring.
Well, we were all in the TV room, and there's a bunch of the girls that were down the hallway in just one of the Sunday school rooms, and they came in just bawling, screaming, and saying that the doors were just rattling, and all the adults turned to all of us boys. It's like, why would we all do that? We're like, we hadn't moved from here. We're in here. I swear, we were in there watching TV. None of us went in there.
Mm.
Now, could have been the wind, the breeze blowing through there, making the doors shut.
Could have simply been hormones.
Could have been hormones, yes. And then another time at a church over here in Fountain City, a kid I grew up with that grew up 2 houses up, his dad was the pastor there. And Jeremy, my buddy, told me about a ghost in that church. It was somebody used to work there that took his life there or something like that. And I was like, yeah, right. We were coming back from this thing in Nashville. It was a church group trip
Retreat thing.
Yeah, we were coming back in the church van, and Jeremy started telling the ghost story, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "Yeah, right." I mean, I was like, "Okay, whatever, man."
Mm-hmm.
And I get back to the church, and I never told anybody this, but we all go inside the church when we get there, waiting on parents to come pick us up. Jeremy's dad, the pastor, was coming to pick us up, and we come out the parking lot, and I'd left my duffel bag in the room, and so I'm like, okay, go get it. Nobody's in the church, and I'm walking down the hallway, and just the shivers come down. So I'm sprinting all of a sudden. I'm sprinting down the hallway. Get back out. Didn't see a ghost.
Yeah, but you felt it.
Well, I talked.
That's what gives you the shivers.
I talked myself into it. So I get out to Jeremy's dad's there to pick us up. Get out to the car, and keep in mind this is the pastor of the church, and we get in the car, and Jeremy just nonchalantly says, "Yeah, Dad, I told him about the ghost in the gym." And his dad got real serious with Jeremy. He said, "Jeremy, I told you never to tell that story." I'm in the back seat. I'm like, "Oh crap!" But again, I don't know.
Okay, well, look at this. So this is the whole premise of this conversation. So if you look at our background, so imagine, okay, what is it? 2024.
Yeah.
Let's go back to 1824. And
Well,
we're in the mountains.
Yeah, it's a different mindset.
And it's dark.
Yeah.
And you're using candlelight and you see shadows and you hear things and you are European descent and you're suspicious and superstitious about everything.
Yeah.
The whole family lore is about haints, ghosts.
Yeah. Anything that goes wrong, it's blamed on spirits, and it's a different mentality.
So, but I mean, think about our ancestors who were in this area. They lived in this closed up society for hundreds of years without outside influence.
Right.
And so they've maintained this superstition even till this day.
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that.
I mean, my mama would tell these stories, and even my great mama, who was, you go back even further, and she had no reason to lie. They thoroughly believed these things.
Well, no, it's not a lie. It's just.
So is there somewhere between the truth and a lie?
There's superstition. And then there's, reality.
But perception is reality.
Yeah. If I perceive that you're dressed up in a ridiculous Green Lantern outfit, then yeah, that's reality. But
This is a costume, by the way.
it is a costume, but you know how it is.
So a year ago, we had the conversation and debate of whether it was a costume or a uniform.
In regards to your Civil War reenactments,
This is a costume.
this is a costume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Because the Green Lantern is not real.
It's not real. We're in 100% agreement
Mhm.
on this.
Yeah, and I felt that I owed it to you to have some type of costume today.
Don't you pass this up off on me. As soon as you saw Cameron with his and then with their outfits, you immediately started pining for your costumes.
Yeah, but 1 year ago on the podcast, you said you are quite honestly the most costumed person.
Yeah, you're by far the most costume part. Yeah, I bet you have a costume for most scenarios.
I don't know. No, I don't.
I bet you could, if I named a scenario,
I could create one.
you could go to your closet and you may not have a costume specifically made by that, but you could assemble one.
Okay, come up with one.
Oh man, I knew you were going to say that. Well, I was going to say an old prospector, but we know for a fact you have an old prospector.
Mhm.
That should prove it right there. The fact that you have an old prospector outfit on the ready.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's say,
And I even have the beard.
yeah, you have the beard.
So it works out great.
So
Sometimes I don't.
I guarantee you have something that would be related to, say, if I said, dress up like a pioneer.
That's easy.
That shouldn't be easy.
Like pioneer from what time frame?
The time frame of when you would be scared to death of being in those mountains.
Like 18 pre-Civil War, antebellum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything that can make you into a Native American?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Do you have a clown outfit?
Well, I mean, if you could have like you could be an Easter Bunny clown.
What do you mean an Easter bunny? You just can't make up a thing. An Easter bunny clown?
Okay, no.
Do you have an Easter bunny?
Yes.
You have an Easter bunny outfit?
I have an Easter Bunny costume.
Okay. So
Wait,
there's no denying.
Wait, have you never seen the picture, the Polaroid picture of me dressed as the Easter Bunny at Hooters?
I have seen that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. Yes, I remember that. Why would you wear an Easter bunny outfit to Hooters?
Well, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
But I mean, I didn't go in with the Easter Bunny costume. I went in and we were talking and I said, "Oh, well, I have an Easter Bunny costume in the car." And they're like, "No, you don't." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And they're like, "Why don't you come in the Easter Bunny costume and walk around the tables and greet the children?" And I was like, "Okay."
Where did you put the Easter bunny costume on? Out in
In the parking lot.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did you get like free food?
No, but I got lots of kindness.
Lots of attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that what it's all about?
I don't have one costume. I think the last costume I had, no, this isn't true. That ain't true. But I have had a Native American costume, but it's when I was a little kid. It's when my mom bribed me to get my shots. She was going to buy me a Native American.
Did you call it Native American?
No, you know darn well what I called it, but she made the tactical.
What'd you call it?
She made the tactical error of buying it for me before I went to get the shots.
You know what I called it when I was a kid?
What?
And this finally caught on.
What?
I called it my indigenous people's costume.
You called that when you were a kid?
Yeah, I was like 5 or 6.
There's not a kid in America that knows the word indigenous.
I did.
How did you know what
I was like, no, this is an indigenous people's costume.
I mean, I'm looking at your costume on the green screen right now. It's just insane. It's pretty cool, actually, like that. Did you just gently caress?
It's amazing that the symbol doesn't.
Yeah, the symbol doesn't disappear.
I'm going to blend in.
It's just a floating head. But no, yeah, tonight's Halloween. Do you expect me trick or treaters?
0.
Yeah, I get 0. I get.
So 30 years at my house, I've had 0 trick or treaters.
I normally get 1 at the end of the night. And 2 years ago, the kid had the greatest costume. All it was yeah. I don't want to get political, so I'm not going to. But he had a shirt.
You can't.
This is.
You can't even say the word.
I can't say political.
No.
What harm is that word?
I don't know. We'll be like
Okay, so I've
scrubbed
just
now.
ruined it, have I?
It'll be the
Should we just stop then?
the production or the distribution will be limited.
I can't believe that.
So what was the costume?
It just said Brandon,
Oh,
and the dad was
he works for us.
and the dad was behind him, just going, Brandon,
Let's go.
let's go, Brandon, let's go, Brandon.
I remember this.
So I just dumped the bag of Rolos in his.
Ooh,
What?
I forgot about Rolos.
That's the only thing I buy for Halloween.
I was asked today, what is my favorite candy?
What'd you say?
Well, I like we used to call them bullseyes. They're the caramel around the white stuff. I think now they're called cowtails.
Yeah, they're called. No, they're called. I think it's just called caramel swirls or something.
Oh my gosh.
That was your favorite candy?
It's so good.
It's good, but for a kid, that was your favorite candy? No wonder you said indigenous.
Yeah.
Mine was, as a kid, well, all my life, Rolo, because
Well, they didn't have Rolos when I was a little kid. This was like a
they had
teenager
Rolos when
thing.
you were a little kid.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. See, how long Rolos have been around since time immemorial?
Hey Siri.
That lady don't know nothing.
Hey Siri. When were Rolos candies created? Oh.
I'm right, aren't I?
Oh.
Yeah.
1937.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in England,
Well, that makes no never.
they didn't cross the
They
pond for
didn't
some
cross till
time.
the late 80s.
I don't know. We lived up in.
Well,
We had
definitely.
there was limited distribution.
It was definitely available in East Tennessee in the early 80s because my dad used to play basketball up at Cal Johnson. And I remember
Wow.
I remember when we'd go watch him, I'd always get a pack of Rolos, and that was a little bit of a nostalgia.
And that was like, hey, Dad, when the Rolos are empty, it's time to go.
The game's ending when the Rolos have diminished. Yeah, nostalgic candy.
And those are good, though.
Yeah, then the other nostalgia treat was mine was at our barber. I'd get we'd go there, and while we were waiting, he'd buy me a pack of I guess they're cherry sours. We used to call them Michigan cherries.
Oh, yeah.
And then
The candied cherries.
they had the pop machine there that was the door
Mhm.
style. So I'd get
You
a
pull the.
glass bottle of Sprite and the cherry sours.
We would. I would ride my bike to the hardware store to get a Coke like that. 15 cents.
Those machines are so expensive now. It's crazy.
I
This is Halloween.
have an older one.
You have one?
I have a 1950 VMC 35 Coke machine.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You should put beer in it.
Well, I do. It doesn't. So it doesn't have all the interior parts, which I could get and finish restoring it. But it sits out. It sits outside by the pool, and it keeps things cold.
That's cool.
But I may bring it in here, and we can use it in the warehouse.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah,
That would be something.
I can do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
What was your other story?
I told it about the bed thing.
Oh, the shaking bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know this, but the people that lived in the house before we moved in, the lady of the house passed away in my bedroom.
I don't think she was shaking your bed, man.
She was trying to tell me something.
What, could she wake up? Were you oversleeping?
I don't know.
I
I haven't solved the mystery.
mean, what percentage of bedrooms that have been owned by previous people do you think have had somebody dying? I'd say 80, 90%.
Nobody in my house.
But yeah, you all are still alive.
I mean, but there were 2 people that owned the house before me. You know what? Ironically, I've lived in that house longer than the other 2 owners, which I thought about that the other day. I was like, it's hard to believe.
Do you think you'll haunt it one day?
No, I'm going to just live there forever.
Like Jack Nicholson on The Shining. You've always been here.
I don't know.
Well, if you were alive before Rolos were made, yeah, I'm sure you're on your way.
Dang it.
I know.
You know what's the worst thing to me?
What?
Being wrong about something.
I agree. What about being wrong about something that I'm debating you on? Is that worse? I feel like that could be
No,
worse.
there's no worse. It's just worse.
Look, I
It's just
tell you,
bad.
That's disheartening.
Mm. Well, I mean, I like to learn things, so I learned something about the Rolo.
See?
It was first released in England in 1937.
You know how old Oreos are? They're way old.
How old?
I don't know, but they were in prisoner packages in the Korean War.
Well, that's not older than a Rolo.
I didn't say it was old. I mean, well, chances are it's been around as long as that. Checker.
Hey, Siri,
Yes.
when were Oreo cookies created?
Mind your business.
Whoa.
What?
March 6, 1912.
I'm telling you, man. They've been around for a day.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're in war packages for prisoners of war.
Man, they're so good.
They used to be.
They're not anymore.
I've read something about
What did they change?
they put some toxic ingredient in it now.
What?
Yeah. I've read something about that.
I just ate a whole bunch of them.
You're going to be that ghost before too long. Well, what's our time limit? Have we reached it?
Oh, wait. Yep.
Well, I got candy to hand out.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did this last year. You're like, I got to be out of here by 5:30 because you still hadn't bought candy. Have you bought candy this year?
Yeah.
What do you have?
Rolos.
That's all?
I don't get enough trick-or-treaters to get a variety.
What are you going to do with the ones you have left over?
They'll probably eat them through the end of the year. What's happening over here?
I was going to see if I could go under my microphone.
That doesn't seem like that's a thing to be doing right now. All right. Well, let's call it a day. Are we going to call it a day?
Was that the end of it?
Well, you were wanting to keep them short. I can talk on for hours, but I'm trying to rein myself in here.
Okay. Yeah, it's good.
Let's bolt.
All right.
We should just leave it recording. Just walk out of here.
Mic drop. Oh, our mics are hanging.
Mic drop and just tilt the desk over.
All right. Well, I don't think I have to stop this because I don't have any card going. So
Later.